ridiculous.
Just a basketball acumen that is virtually unmatched at this age.
Yeah.
The only player I can think to compare him to in terms of the ability to control the game and everyone's actions around him would be LeBron. If Porzingis is healthy, I think they're the top challenger to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas.
They made some shrewd moves this offseason.
Yeah.
They've kept their core together in the bubble, and towards the end of the regular season, they had some key injuries. They missed Dwight Powell, great forward / center, and they also were missing, I believe they were missing their... No, that was it for top of my memory. They were missing Porzingis a bit in the Clippers series.
Yeah, they did. They did miss Porzingis for 4 games, I think.
So 2 of their starting front court were out.
Yep.
Obviously unfortunate, but they should come back healthy and ready to go.
Yep.
I mean, what else needs to be said about Luka Doncic? First of all, the guy's a stud.
MVP.
He's my pick.
Yeah.
30, 10, and 10 almost last year, which is unreal.
Incredible.
At 21 years old, I believe.
It's ridiculous.
Just a basketball acumen that is virtually unmatched at this age.
Yeah.
The only player I can think to compare him to in terms of the ability to control the game and everyone's actions around him would be LeBron when he was a young pup in the Cavaliers jersey. But Luka's great. I think he'll win MVP. He was my pick last episode.
Yeah.
If Porzingis is healthy, I think they're the top challenger to the Lakers.
Yeah.
They played them pretty well in the regular season last season.
They did. They're a pretty good matchup across the court, I think.
Well, they have no one's going to guard Doncic, first of all. Doncic is going to do his thing. We saw that in the Clippers series. Maybe the Clippers didn't give their best effort, but they have Kawhi, Paul George.
No one can stop him. They put
at all.
Everyone had to go.
And he's not like lightning quick.
No.
He's not, jumping out of the
gym.
He
does what he wants.
He just gets to his spot. He's strong.
Can't stop it.
Yeah, so I don't see the Lakers finding any answers for him,
mm-hmm.
but it would be an interesting matchup. I'd love to see that. Maybe in the conference finals.
I can see that, definitely. Yeah. I can see that. I can see them above every other team in the West being the biggest problem, only on the back of Doncic.
And Porzingis he's due to be like the real second...
Well, he can put up
Robin to Batman.
He can put up those points. He can put in that kind of performance, especially in a playoff game. And I think you're right. We didn't see the best version of Kristaps, and that was due to his injuries. If he can stay healthy for a season and get through a season of NBA basketball, then you're looking at one of the best franchises in the NBA.
Yeah. Great owner. Just a great franchise, yeah.
Fantastic. And yeah, it's got to be said that
the guy they traded for?
The owner.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
Love me some cubes.
And it's got to be said that Mark Cuban is a huge fan of white European basketballers.
No doubt.
And
white players.
It's
he had
paid
Steve
off,
Nash
man.
as well.
Yeah, look, it's paid off that he's invested in the European market.
Yep.
Especially landing Luka Doncic, trading for Kristaps. They built a very good franchise there. And they've added Josh Richardson as well, which I really like for the backcourt with Luka.
Yep.
Because of his defensive issues. He should improve this year, and he's only 21.
Exactly.
He's
been asked to do a lot on offense, so I can understand him being like, okay, defense.
Yeah.
Carlisle's not going to...
Let me take some plays off, please.
Yeah, exactly. And Carlisle's going to give him that because he's such a brilliant offensive player. We see that a lot with some players, and Doncic is no exception. So
we do see that a lot with Dame. We see it with Steph. I think that point guard role, you take you shoulder the load, and then you get back on D, and you're like,
I'm spent.
I just need a break. I just need. It's interesting to sit here and have that take especially for NBA players who you expect being paid that kind of money
to be half decent.
To be half decent on
defense. I wouldn't even say that
yeah.
Doncic is like a liability on defense, but I would say there's a lot of room for improvement.
He's not good.
The point you were
not
making,
average. So
right, yeah, he's close to average, if not below average at this stage. I would say.
Yeah.
He's got a great basketball mind, so he'll figure it out. I think that Josh Richardson, the point you were making was Josh Richardson was an upgrade over Seth Curry to help defensively, to give Luka less burden on that end.
Yep.
And he's a good player anyway. I don't think he was the right fit for Philly. I think he'll fit really well in Dallas.
Well, he's a spot-up shooter, and the issue with him on that Philly roster is they were lacking a secondary ball handler.
Yeah.
And so they gave that role to Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson put up the second most mid-range jumpers in the NBA last season. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that for Josh. I watched Josh a lot when he was playing for Miami. Josh Richardson, I should give him his last name.
Yeah.
I watched Josh Richardson a lot playing for Miami. And his role was in the corner, switching, and hitting three-pointers from the corner.
Not doing too much.
No, he didn't have a big role in Miami, but when they called on him, he did his job.
Yeah.
And that's probably a Spoelstra coaching thing.
Part of it.
And I think Rick Carlisle is one of those coaches that can go, okay, this is what you do well. Go out there and do it.
Play to your strengths, exactly. You nailed it. I think he'll fit really well in that team. Being a sidekick to Doncic is good, so that's a good pickup for them. They just have a really, when you look at their roster, they have a great set of players.
Yeah.
Just running down some of them here. We got Maxi Kleber, Tim Hardaway Jr. I do like a lot. He's underrated.
Very underrated.
Dorian Finney-Smith, also underrated. Great role player. Super versatile on defense.
Yeah.
I actually really like that they picked up James Johnson.
I like that too, man.
He was underutilized in his whole career to me until he got to Miami.
Where they put him as a sixth man and they were like, you can run our offense when you're on the floor. And man,
going forward.
Unbelievable. Yeah. He's so talented. He has
athletic.
He has such a good skill set across the board that you can't really pick one thing out of his game and go, okay, now do this, because he can give you a lot. And it just depends on how Dallas use him. I can see him being a sixth man for them. They've also got Jalen Brunson, who's another player I really like. I think he's incredibly underrated.
Solid leader.
Man,
his dad was in the NBA.
He's an absolute spark off the bench too.
Yeah.
You bring him on and he runs that offense so clean, and it's just so
professional. Crisp. Again, father that used to play in the NBA. Somehow it just works out for them. Another guy I like that had a resurgent season is Trey Burke.
I like Trey Burke.
He was sick. I think he got a little bit overrated coming into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was 2013 or 2014.
That was a bad draft.
He had a great year at Michigan. He had a huge shot in the tournament that just put him on the map. I think he was already on the map, but he had a resurgent season and really earned his minutes. I don't like that he's about 6 feet tall, and in the NBA you kind of need more. You don't want to be a liability on defense. You can be scrappy, and you can use someone like Fred VanVleet as an example of size isn't really. It's not the end of the world if you can make it work with scrappiness and crafty defensive play. Yeah. That's where I'm really concerned with Trey Burke is defensively, but his offense is really good. Great shooter, good decision maker, fits into the Carlisle system as well.
I don't know where he gets minutes on this roster though, and they've given him a pretty good contract. I don't know where he gets minutes.
It's true, they are a bit stacked because they re-signed JJ Barea, who's just the bench. He's like the Udonis Haslem.
You don't have to play JJ.
Nah, he's an assistant coach that sits with the players.
He's a locker room guy.
Exactly.
He's a really good guy to have around your franchise.
That's true. So Trey Burke will play over him, but then you have Jalen Brunson taking minutes. Not taking minutes, but to compete with.
You can't play Jalen Brunson and Trey Burke in your backcourt.
Unless you're playing the Raptors who play Lowry and VanVleet. That's a scenario you could do.
The other team,
twice a year.
The other team that did do that with Kemba Walker and Brad Wanamaker is Boston Celtics.
I didn't like that lineup, but it is what it is.
Wanamaker 6'3", so you could argue that he's probably the limit of height for shooting guard. But
You're right. There's a bit of a logjam in the backcourt.
They ran a lot of small ball last year they had Seth Curry, Jalen Brunson, and Luka Doncic on the floor at the same time.
That's right. Sometimes Luka was playing the 4.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Luka occasionally would play the 4. Mostly they used him as the point guard, and then they'd move him to the 3 once those guys came on. I don't like that. I think Luka's your 1, and you've got to keep him there. I think when he's on the court, he has to guard up top. He has to be the guy that's guarding the point guard. He should never be down low trying to battle with a 4. That'll just wear him out.
No, you don't want him at the 4, but I also don't like him at the 1. I think he just plays defense on the guy, basically the worst offensive player on the other team. You have Josh Richardson and Tim Hardaway and all these other guys to take on more important assignments. Yeah. So they can make up for Luka's deficiencies on defense.
There's a lot of defensive worries there. That'd be the only thing for me. Hardaway Jr. is an average defender. He's nothing special. Josh Richardson is the best defender on the roster.
Yeah.
So how many minutes Josh Richardson gets, I don't know. But as far as Dallas's roster, there is a huge logjam at the guard position.
Yeah.
And adding Josh Green to that as well. He's a guy that could get minutes for them. He was their first round pick. Super athletic. Defensively is good, can handle a lot of positions at 6'6". So he's another guy that could end up taking minutes away from the other guys you've just paid.
I think he's a bit...
he's fresh. He's green.
Yeah, that's the word. He's very
green.
Young.
Yeah.
So I don't see him getting the minutes right away. I don't think
he's actually,
to my memory, Carlisle doesn't play a lot of rookies much unless you really trust them. And it's Luka Doncic, who's like transcendent.
Yeah.
The exception to the rule, you could say. But I don't think he'll find minutes. The same with Tyrell Terry, unless there's injuries.
He did play Jalen Brunson a lot last year.
Yeah, but Brunson has a mature game.
Yeah,
he makes sense,
and he's older. He's much older.
Yeah,
for a young, early in his NBA career, he's older.
But with the logjam, I don't see Terry or the Josh Green. I don't see a fit for them necessarily. Okay. But they'll develop. They're a great pickup. Tyrell Terry replaces Curry, like 75-85% of Curry's shooting, because Tyrell Terry was arguably the best shooter in the draft.
Okay,
so. That's a good pickup.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mavs, to me, I had the Mavs and the Lakers in the conference finals.